you out. Kicked him out just in time. You've got to love the professionalism in me. Ladies and gents, I am back on this realm. I have been away in Turkey, as you guys know, for a couple of weeks. Filmed a beautiful video to go out last week with Mr. Mahoney, and I'm excited to say that we are back live today. I'm going to bring him in just 1 second. Sorry for the late notice about this video. I wasn't sure I was going to make it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been on a pretty profound journey over the last week. Since coming back from Turkey. So I'm going to bring Mahoney in now, and then we will have a little chat about the importance and the relevance and, you know, just how much we should be investing in ourselves right now. Mahoney!
Hello, stranger.
Hello, my love. How are you?
I'm actually missed you, all the daily banter and the messages back and forth, I have to say.
I've missed you too.
I don't believe you. You've been way too busy for that. But I like that you tried to convince me. My camera's got me.
She's lying. No,
you've been on an intense course, I believe.
You could say that. You could say that I have been. Do you know what, David? Just if I take a backward step a little bit, the last time I invested in myself was 2019. You know, I work with so many people on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. Like, I've got thousands of people I work with around the world at the moment, and it's been the same for many, many years. And the last time I invested in myself was actually, I tell a lie, it was January 2020. Just before we went into lockdown, I was actually in Florida at a seminar, but it wasn't a seminar I wanted to go to. The last one I wanted to go to was in September of 2019. And there's a guy based in Australia called Kerwin Ray. And everybody used to say to me, Lucy, he's the Australian male version of you. That's all they used to say. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go check this guy out. And it was jaw-dropping. He was literally the male version of me. And I was like, oh, this is really weird, watching myself, literally down to the words he used, everything. I was like, okay, this is odd. Down to the same stories, you know, like he did something to his hand and he couldn't use his hand for a certain amount of time. I did the same. I had to have it operated on, couldn't use it for 9 months. Like, it's just, the synchronicities were very, very interesting. So that was the last time I invested in myself because I wanted to. I went on this program in January 2020. Didn't want to do it, but I went because I got asked to go. And I think it's really important for us to talk about investing in yourself. Now, it doesn't have to be a course. You know, it could be many things, and maybe we can explore that a little bit as we go through. But I guess we've kind of got a bit disconnected. Like, when's the last time you invested in yourself?
Well, it's a good question, but what do you mean? It depends on what you're talking about.
What does it mean to you? That's
you see,
a good question, right?
What does it mean to you? I tell you, I invested in myself recently by getting some new camera equipment. I bought a really good gimbal. I upgraded my cellular phone, my mobile phone, and I've shot this weekend. I did a very important interview in Seville with a Spanish lawyer who's talking about all the constitution laws. And considering we shot it off the cup, 7:30, 8:30 at night, it's come out really great. And the effects of, I've sent you a couple of clips, you've seen it. So
it's beautiful.
That's what I've invested in myself, because here's where I was thinking, it's a good question. You see, you ask questions, Lucy, and I go, hang on a second. And I actually, deep down inside there, the answers are already there because my soul has already been thinking about, feeling the answers out. So the next self-investment for me is I'm going to reinvent myself a little bit now, because my work over the last 2 years has kind of been the same. Geopolitical, get up and fight, got to do this, got to do that, don't take any of this shit. But now with the spiritual stuff that I like as well, I think I don't see anybody else who's got the same sort of blend as having both of them in together, to be a digital warrior as well as a spiritual warrior. So I've decided to enhance both sides of things, and get my film work back up to cinematic, proper production stuff. I'm going to get myself a nice little young student, maybe with some good film school knowledge, and train him up and have him come with me, because the topics, locations, and what we do, where I go, that we know we need to slow it down and explain it a bit more. It's always very rushed. I find I've got 2 days here, 1 day there. And a lot of the time I'm working on these as production and doing the filming for Huna's events, for example. So I think my audience deserve better. And I feel my audience deserve better, and I feel they deserve an upgrade in what the Mahoney can bring to the table. So that's what I've been investing in myself this week while you've been away in your secret missions.
Whilst I've been out on different realms. Do you know what, David? I'm really proud of you for all of that.
Well, I haven't done it yet, but
No, but I'm proud
I've got all the equipment.
Realization, like, that's huge. And I know you hate, and I can see you cringing at the compliment. Oh my God, why is she doing this to me live on camera again, bitch?
No, I'm all right. I'm all right with that. But I don't. You see, here's the thing. That I don't know anybody else like me. There's tons of truthers out there, and they all have their little niches and cliques, and whether it's the Americans or the Australians, all have something individual, but there's nobody doing what I'm really doing, which is a bit of both. And I think the locations I go to and the skills I have being in the film business, I mean, I see things all the time. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. So I think the public deserve it, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to give everybody an upgrade, expand the audience into not just the geopolitical and showing locations, but also the warrior techniques that you can use as being in tune with your spiritual guide as well, inside you and inside them, and looking for the signs, as we've spoken about in different shows. So, next question.
I feel really proud. I feel like a proud mum right now. I'm like, oh my God, something's just slotted into place with you, and I really like that.
Yeah,
I really like that. It's showing as well. It's showing.
But do you like that idea really?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Okay.
I'm a big supporter of. Go on.
Then I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna hold you to that, and I'm gonna call you to come and help me do a couple of things on film. Then. Yeah.
As if you wouldn't.
Because some of the stuff that you do as well, I saw some of those pictures in Turkey, and I was like, holy shit, look how beautiful that is. Those ancient Mesopotamian, those Greek faces that were wrapping around on the stone, those are called Corinthian pillars, the way that are hollowed out. And some of the pictures, I have to say, I was jealous to see where you were.
You wait till you see the video.
Well, I hope to maybe give you a hand. If you're going to put them together, let me see if I can help you edit them so we can maximize the effects so people can really appreciate where you were.
I think it's probably a better idea if you just do it. I mean, I'm happy to be a student and learn, but come on, especially whilst I'm in this place. To be honest with you, I do have a beautiful eye for things. I'm just not the most patient person when it comes to, doing things. I mean, I guess you're just so good at it. You are so good at it, and I'm excited to learn from you. But yeah, it was, David, I feel very spoiled in so many ways. And a lot of people will be watching this going, Lucy, you've just been away for 2 weeks. Now you're on a course for a week. Like, at what point don't you invest in yourself? But a lot of people don't quite grasp the way that I work. I've been running programs every single month, every single week, every single whatever for many, many years now. I also do lives on either Facebook or Instagram at least once a day, 5 days a week. So I'm putting a lot of content out and doing a lot of what I call work. Obviously, my programs is what pays me the money, and YouTube and bits and pieces like that. But I then have this other side, which obviously I know you've seen me do, David, and this is where I get intuitively called to locations, and people would look at the last 4 months of my life and been like, blimey, Lucy, you've been to Montenegro, you've been to Slovenia, you've been to Croatia, you've been to gosh, I can't even think, Bosnia, you've been to Ireland, you've been to Turkey, you've been to all these locations, like you're living the dream. But in reality, when I go to many of these countries, it's very much to clear the underpinning and the grid work, or set something up, or release souls or something like that. And yes, I do get to have fun in the sun, and yes, I do get a little bit of downtime, but it's very limited. When I was in Eastern Europe a few, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago now, I did 1,800 miles. That's a
Yeah.
lot of miles to do in a couple of weeks.
I sympathize. I'm the same way, I mean, look, I've been to Mexico 3 times this year.
Yeah.
Bolivia. Or was that last year? It was March last year, was it? Who knows anymore? But
I didn't even know you then.
No, you didn't. You get in,
Isn't
you
it
get to
weird,
work.
life?
You get in, you get to work, and you have a little bit of downtime at the end of the day. But I mean, we had some really messed up things that I actually got for the first time in probably 15 years, food poisoning in a hotel in La Paz. And you're at 3,000, no, it's more, it's 14,000 feet above sea level. There's no oxygen.
Wow.
So trying to throw up and breathe at the same time is not fun. Especially when your nostrils are all clogged up.
Cute. Really
It was
pretty
white
look.
rice.
Sorry to anyone eating their dinner right now.
Reheated white rice. The guy, they tried to kill us, me and the cameraman, but he was crawling around on the floor saying, "Don't let me die in Bolivia, Mahoney. Please don't let me die. Ship my body back to London." I said, "He's throwing it out the hotel window, mate. I'm not wasting any money in your body." So yeah, people think travel, great, hotel, suitcase, pool, lovely meals, going to a show, bit of romance with either my partner, or maybe I'll meet someone at the bar. But the reality is, when you're on a work schedule, it's like, okay, got to go here, got to go there. You don't have much time for any of that fun,
Exactly. And that's why, as much as I knew this, because this is my investment in myself, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't been doing enough of it. Bearing in mind, my brand is called Self-Love Club. You would think that, and I am the queen of self-love. I do look after myself. I do meditate. I do all of those things, but actually properly investing in myself, like I said at the beginning, it's been, 2019 since I actually really did something. And I look at, taking a week out to meditate as my gift to myself. The last time I did it was in 2018 when I was on my healing journey, and I isolated myself, and I went into a 6-week kind of cycle of meditation, fasting, being in nature, swimming in freshwater lakes, things like that, because I had tumors to get rid of.
Yeah.
Thankfully, within 6 weeks, I passed them without having any medical intervention and stuff like that. Thank God. But that was the last time. And that was very much in, fight or flight mode. They either wanted to take my womb, or I had to heal myself. So, that was the action that I had to take then. So for me to be able to do this now is the biggest gift I could give myself. Now, as you said before we came on air, David, you were like, it would probably be hell for you to be doing a week's meditation, because in your own words, I'm no good at it. I can't switch my brain off. My brain works really fast. So, ladies and gents, I've taken on the challenge that I'm going to teach Mahoney how to meditate.
Okay.
I'd
get nervous, take a little sleep. Just let yourself go. Just
I'm not going to do that with you. I'm going to do it in a different way with you, because as soon as you said, I was like, oh, I know how to get him to meditate. So I'm going to test it.
I'd like it because I think it's one of the next steps in my evolutionary journey, certainly on that, because I'm in contact with that world quite a lot as well. Although saying that, I haven't had any psychic events for a couple of weeks now.
Is that because I've been quiet?
Probably you've been sucking up all the psychic events. Give them to me.
Come to me. Come to mama.
Well, yeah, investing in yourself, Lucy. I mean, there's many different aspects. What you're talking about personally fits for you, but I think for the viewers, my one fits for me. Each viewer has to, maybe improving your relationship with siblings or family members. It could be many different things. You'll feel the answer.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really important. And if any of you can think of something now that you'd love to invest in yourself, please do comment, and David and I will be able to have a little chat about that. If you've got questions as well, please do feel free to ask them. But like you say,
Sorry,
David,
Lucy, is this live? Are you putting this out
yeah, this
tomorrow?
is
Is it
live.
live?
No,
Oh,
this
okay. So if
this
there's
is live.
questions down
Did I
below, that's what I was thinking. I'm not
did
going to.
I not tell you? Yeah, we're
No.
live on YouTube and Facebook at the moment.
Good.
I can see the comments on YouTube. I can't see the comments on Facebook, but I can go back to them later on,
Sure.
because if I've got Facebook open at the same time, it'll go horrible. But I can see what's going on in YouTube. So if anybody's got comments or on either platform, I will come back to you later on. So think
Yeah.
about it. What is the kind of investment that you would like to invest in yourself? This isn't for your kids. This isn't for who you might impact. And I love the fact that Gemma's put investment in yourself will be an investment with everybody you work with. Absolutely. But I'm not doing it for other people. I say that, and already I've gone, right, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that, so that I can create the ripple that is going on within me, within other people. Because a lot of people wouldn't resonate with the work that I've been doing. It's too far out there, it's too woo-woo, it's, the thought of
Woo.
woo-woo. But it is. And I'll just share. So far, I've done it's somewhere between 30 and 36 hours of meditation in since Wednesday afternoon. Since Thursday morning. Like, that's a lot of meditation, bearing in mind, what day is it? Monday. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's a lot of meditation to be doing in a handful of days. Now, that wouldn't resonate with a lot of people. This morning, I'm going to share this just because it's absolutely so out there. It's ridiculous. This morning, I was over it where we need to be for 3:15 to start a meditation that went on for 4 hours and 20 minutes.
How did so you're in a hotel around the corner, so you had to go back there at 3:15 in the morning.
Yeah, literally, it's just I'm like maybe.
But there's 2,500 people there. So was it just a select group that had to do that, or everybody?
No, everybody had to do it.
So they had to get 2,500 people in at one place. It's by 3:15, so 3 a.m. And
Basically, everybody was like. Actually, a lot of people didn't turn up. I'm going to be honest with you. There was quite a lot of spaces and quite a lot of chairs that were empty. And at the end of the day, if people don't want to do it. But I'm one of these people, and this will probably resonate with you, David. If I'm going in, I'm going all in. I'm not going to mess about.
Yeah.
I want to get the best experience that I possibly can. I'll take a little backward step. A few days ago, I did a walking meditation. Now, the last time I did walking meditation, I was in Vietnam, and I was in a monastery with the monks. Thich Nhat Hanh had invited me to stay and spend a week with him and his monks. Massive story. If you haven't heard it, I'll do another video on it one day. But it's, that was the last time I'd done walking meditation. So this time, when he said we were going to do walking meditation, I was like, piece of this, I've got this. Anyway, this walking meditation, I put my earphones in and I started the walk, and I just burst into tears. And I had such a personal realization as to why I've been blocking myself where love is concerned. And I just completely let it go. Like, it was like a tsunami coming out of me, and literally just out the top of my head. And the divine was just like, right, that's done now. You're done now. You don't need to go back there. And it was one of the most beautifully profound experiences that I've ever gone through. And the guy running the event afterwards, I was just streaming. I actually posted a picture on my Instagram channel because I want people to know this is normal. It's very normal to cry. It's very normal, even if you're a mentor on people's spiritual journey. You've got to keep putting the work in. You've got to keep showing up. You've got to keep walking your talk. David, you can't sit there, or I'm sure you wouldn't sit there and be like, oh yeah, I'm this to do with films, or I can produce movies, or blah blah blah, if you didn't still have your hand in it. After a couple of years or whatever, you'd feel a little bit stale. And this is why I really wanted to talk about this today. We have this physical casket, we have this physical vessel. Most of us are not using it the way that we can use it on a day-to-day basis. Some of you use your brain for your work, some of you use your hands for your work. But all of us have this beautiful thing called a heart, and very few of us use it. And that's the activation that this has been about for me over the last week. This has been about bringing my heart space back online. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've always said, you know, my heart is pure and blah, 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 blah. And it is. And I am very, very much driven from love. However, something has happened to me this week. And I messaged you, David, didn't I? And I said, I'm different. Like, there is something different about me. I don't know. I don't want to get emotional now. Pull it together, Davis. But it's just gonna have a little chat with myself there. But something has happened. Something has physically happened within me because I took time for me, even though I didn't have the time. I landed from Turkey at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had to be here the next afternoon. Like, I had all the reasons not to come, and I was like, no, I need this. You know, 3 weeks I've been away from doing my business properly. You know, 3 weeks.
Well, you got to understand things happen because it's supposed to happen. You know, if you weren't supposed to make it there, the train would have been delayed or your flight would have been delayed, but you made it and did it and you got through it. And now you're changed for the better, not for the worst.
Exactly.
You're a nicer person now.
You don't know yet.
Don't know yet.
Hopefully. Yeah, you don't know yet. You haven't been chatting to me like we normally chat most days, do
No, I haven't.
So
also interesting that you said this was interesting how you commented it was based on what your heart. This was all a heart healing. You mentioned the monastery in Vietnam. You also talked about what you went through these last 5 or 6 days. And you've also talked about your openness now to receiving someone special into your life. It's probably all in an alignment, I would imagine, Lucy. That seems like that's what it's all preparing you for.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't wait to meet him.
And this is the whole point of the investment in self, right? If you invest where feels right, so you investing in your film equipment and everything right now is so important for you because that's the direction you want to take your life in. So you have to make that investment. And I think this is it's just something that seems to be missing with a lot of people right now. They've got so caught up in the trenches, they've forgotten that there is another option as well. It doesn't mean that you can't still be a warrior. Doesn't mean that you can't still stand up for your beliefs and do whatever it is that feels resonant with you. It just means invest in you and your person at the same time.
Well, let's just one other thing that just flashed through my head there. I want to make sure there's a very clear cut mark between the word investment and money. It's not always about money. Let's take a weight issue. For example, a friend of mine became a father recently and he's 45 and he kind of panicked. And I said, well, I was a father at 25. I said, I've done that now, raising my son. And I said, well, you know what? You better lay off all that other bullshit because in a couple of years, he's just been born. In a couple of years, he's going to be wanting to play football, running around, bicycles. You need to be fit. You need to drop a bit of weight. You need to cut back on the pints. And I said, the best thing I would do for you is also get your joints in order, make sure your collagen is very high because you're going to be running up and down stairs and bending over and picking them up. And he says, shit, you know what? You're right. He says, I've got to invest some time into me. And those were his exact words. So he'll go on a fitness burn. He'll get himself into shape because for the next at least 12 to 15 years, he's going to be a father and he's going to have to do all these things with a son is a lot of work. They're sporty and running around. Little boys don't walk anywhere. They're like having small drunks in your house that stagger around and running and smash into things and break things and then pee themselves and say, I'm sorry, and throw up. Yeah, toddlers are just like small drunks.
I've never heard that before, but that is so apt. I've got a nephew, so I can resonate with that.
Your house. They come in your house. You can't be angry at them because they can't help it. And they're staggering around saying, what's this smash? Oh, sorry, broke it. Oh, I just went to the party. and they run around, break everything, and then, won't leave me alone. What's this? What's this? What's this? Why is the sky blue? It's like drunks are like, did I tell you? Did I tell you? Did I tell you?
I like that a lot. So if anyone's pregnant with a boy, sorry.
Well, girls are a little bit better, but
a little bit more chilled.
There's a Russian woman I know, and she has twin boys, right? And I went to say her name was Tatiana or Natalia or something. I said, hello, Natalia. And she was the neighbor of a house that I kind of look after for my friend. I go around, check the water and everything, English guy. So I was saying, hello, Tatiana. And I looked through the door. She said, hello, come and say hello. So she had these 5-year-old twins. And I looked like that and looked at them. And I looked back in there and said, oh, they're getting big, aren't they? And when I looked back again, 10 seconds later, one of them was standing on the kitchen table trying to climb on the dresser. I mean, in seconds. And she's going, they are crazy. The father doesn't teach them. They were like two demolition merchants. When if you got squatters, you just send these two little quick kids into this house, man. They pull it apart in 5 minutes. They have screwdrivers and knives. Like one of them had a big bread knife. He's only speaking Russian. A huge bread knife. Put it down. Where you find this? So yeah, the word investment is not financially motivated for the viewers. It's about what you want to, what your commitment is to yourself. Make a soul contract with yourself, whether it's getting a better job, whether it's losing some weight, whether it's putting on weight, becoming a better husband or becoming a better wife, you know.
Yep. Or creating a new version of yourself, Mahoney, hey?
There's a very good song, Lucy, and it's called Dying Man by, what you call him, Tim McGraw. You know this? It's a country song. Right. So he says, yeah, and actually some of your audience should do this as well. There's some amazing country songs. All the time that I was down in Alabama and those states, in Nashville and Alabama, I became impressed with country music because there's always a story in there. And I'll tell you a couple. I know this is veered off in a weird direction, but there was one by Tim McGraw, and he says, I was in my early 40s with a lot of life before me when the news came to stop me on a dime. I spent most of the next days looking at the x-rays and wondering about sweet time. So it's a guy in his 40s that realizes he's been diagnosed with, I suppose, cancer. And he says, so what are you going to do? He says, I went skydiving, Rocky Mountain climbing. I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. I love Sweeter, and what he did, he says, I love Sweeter, and I became deeper, and I became finally the man that I knew I always could become. Aww. And it's a story of a guy's journey because he had cancer. Yeah. Great song, Tim McGraw. I think it's called "Live Life Like a Diamond." I'll sing it. You'll cry your eyes out at it.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was another great one.
A couple more tears won't hurt, Mahoney.
Have you got anything left? There was another good one where a little boy was saying, Daddy, will you take me in the backyard so we can throw baseball? And he says, son, I don't have time. I got to go to work. So I don't remember how the tune went, but that was it. And eventually the little boy was saying, Daddy, will you spend some time with me? Sorry, boy. Sorry, son. I got to go to work. Got to earn the money, you know. It was only your mom with your mama gone. Now it's just me, and I got to earn the money to pay the rent, keep the bills paid, and keep the food in the fridge. So then the next time the guy comes back, the father, he says, Daddy, and he was holding his piggy bank. And he says, how much money from my piggy bank do I have to pay you for you to spend time with me? See, the little boy equated the time with money. Heartbreaking, isn't it? You know, these are written from real life experiences. Country songs are brilliant. And I'll finish on one more, which a friend of mine recently, I gave him to listen to, and he took it very lightly. These are great things you can do for people. You know, he took it very lightly. He had a bad breakup, and he's all confused. Oh, man, I really loved her. And what was the point of that 3 years? And I said, listen, mate. I said, you need to listen to a song by Kenny Rogers called The Gambler. And The Gambler says, you've got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. It's all about poker. So life is a game of poker, Lucy. You got to sit at the table. And sometimes you're going to get shit cards. But don't let your opponents see that in your face. Have a poker face. Because we all have to play the cards we get. And some days these cards are better than others. And some days you get a royal flush. You say, oh, everything is just great and peachy today. But some days you get nothing. You can't even, you can't even get into the hand because it's that bad. But the words in the song say, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. He says, you've got to know when to walk away and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. And it's great life advice.
I like it.
You've got to play the cards. Don't count your money. You can do that later. Sit at the table, play the cards. You'll get a better hand next time. So if anybody's out there thinking about quitting is never going to do it. You can change direction, but quitting is not the answer. And you told me an amazing story the other day about a couple that you helped 10 years ago, that every year on their anniversary, they send you a thank you, Lucy card. And I thought that was a brilliant story, Lucy, because am I allowed to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, you can talk about what you like.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, obviously for the viewers, she told me this story where a woman came in and she says, I fucking hate my husband. I'm going to kill him. I fucking hate him. He's a fucking arsehole. Honestly, Lucy, you can't help me. I'm going to fucking kill him. I hate him. So after some investigation, Lucy pulled the whole situation apart and saw the self-destructive side of this woman, where she was blaming everything on the husband, but really the real problem was her. And you made this woman understand the errors in what she was doing and why it was self-hatred and self-loathing that she portrayed on the husband. I suppose she kept reaching for Jaffa cakes and donuts as kind of a normal thing. I don't know, but I'm just presuming. I don't know if it was the normal orange Jaffa cakes or the new raspberry flavor ones.
She wasn't, but yeah, I get what you mean. No.
You know that
it was
that's self-hatred when you get into a circle.
No, you're right.
Buying it, yeah, overeating, too many calories. But at the end of the day, you pulled it all apart and said, listen, you nutcase, your husband's a great guy, loves you very much. And the reason that you're unhappy is you're unhappy with yourself, but you're projecting that unhappiness, that hatred onto him. And it's self-loathing. And you helped them, and 10 years later, they've had an amazing marriage. And every year they send you a thank you card. I think that's an amazing story.
Yeah, thank you.
That's why I wanted to share it, because you're very humble with some of the things and the achievements you've done, girl. So
I just keep them close to my chest. The people that are supposed to know them hears about it, But
well, I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, it boils down to coming back to knowing yourself and investing in yourself, right? This lady reached out to me because she, had got to her wit's end. And actually what she ended up doing was investing in herself. And then obviously she managed to pull it around and actually see.
Yeah. This is why I said it.
Yeah. And it's very, very important, right? We must recognize that investment in us, whatever that, and like Mahoney said, it's not about cash, it's not about money. It's about just taking the time to recognize who it is that you would like to be. Who is it, or where is it that you would like to get to? Because, there's so many of us that have dreams and desires and wishes and wants, yet because we don't know how to get to them, we just don't bother. We just give it up. We step away. And it's just about going back. And we speak about this all the time. It always actually seems to come back to this. You've got to know who you are to be able to know where it is that you want to go. Like, how do you know the destination of your journey if, like, where are you going? What are you doing? Are you just winging it? Are you just going through life? Or is there...
You got to have a map.
Yeah, exactly.
This is it. You got to have a map, like any trip that you'll take. You say you want to drive from London to Scotland. Imagine you don't have your GPS on your phone. You're going to need a map. So you need a plan. And isn't it funny how destination is made of destiny? Destiny is in the destination.
I like that.
So, yeah, your destiny is in your destination and vice versa. Your destination is your destiny. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, and it's very, very true. Unless I've never considered that before, so I like that a lot. I might have to steal that, Mahoney.
Yeah, you're going to steal that. It's good, isn't it? In Ireland, there's a famous case of an American guy pulling up and he says, "Excuse me, sir, I'm trying to find my way to Limerick." And he says, "Oh, I wouldn't start from here at all now."
Wow. You know what's just popped in my head? Well, she just said that. Do you remember that little man that we met when we were over doing
the tractor man?
Oh, he was such a babe, wasn't he? He was so sweet.
He was very charming and funny, but he must have seen how stressed I was because we got lost and I was way to reactivating the cameras. I was like, can't talk to you, pal. But I got back inside and it was fine. You know, that's another great expression. It's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
That's a very, 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 very good point. And, you know, even this morning's meditation, when I was told I had to be there, you know, early doors to start a meditation, you know, before 4 o'clock in the morning, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. This is going to be so dramatic, you know, and I had no idea it was going to be over 4 hours at that point. So that would have added a whole, you know, because we all go through these processes, you know, we all expect the worst. And then when it delivers, you know, at the end of the day, the universe doesn't want to prove us wrong. So you've got to be setting the tone. We've always got to be setting the tone for our life. So, oh wow, this is going to be an interesting process. This is going to be an opportunity for me, and that's actually how I swung it around this morning. I woke up and I thought, fuck this. You know, the last thing I want to be doing is going out there. And I don't know why. Whenever you wake up at God knows what time of the morning, if you've been to bed, like I'm always cold. So I wrapped up like it was winter, went outside, I'm sweating my tits off because obviously it's not cold here at the moment. And I'm walking along and I'm like, fuck's sake, what sort of crazy cow am I? You know, like who the fuck would do this shit? And then I bumped into Wendy Smith and I'm like, that crazy bitch would as well. Brilliant. So, you know, but it was very quickly, as soon as I got outside and started sweating, I laughed at my own stupidity first and foremost. And then I went, this is an opportunity. This is something that one day I'm going to look back at and go, I'm so freaking proud of myself. Like jumping out of a plane, like bungee jumping, like all of the other cool stuff that I've done. You know, I know it's going to be in my life. It has been. You know, who the heck gets up at 2:15 in the morning to go meditate? Like, who does that?
Yeah, that's why I was double checking. Did you mean in the afternoon? But I know what you're serious
you
about.
wouldn't be doing it, would you?
No.
Just getting home then, Luce.
Things like that I don't get annoyed. Like, I don't like early morning flights, but all right, you'll do it. But you know, I don't have an adverse reaction to doing anything that's going to advance me in whatever the skills I'm learning. Night shoots are particularly annoying on a film set because everybody's asleep and they always call you in way too early. They'll say, all right, you got to be here too. But, you know, it's often 5 a.m. by the time you actually get the guns and the cars. And yeah, there's makeup and wardrobe.
You'd be asking me to be doing any mystical, spiritual sites at 2:00 in the morning, will you?
I think we'll go a bit earlier. All we need to get there is around midnight. Yeah, so I don't mind any of that. You know what just flashed into my head, Lucy, and I've been told to share it. I don't know why. Maybe you can shed some lights on this. I forgot all about this. The first time I tried meditation, I was accessing the memory. So meditation, I had one once where I actually managed to get out of my body. I started concentrating on the blood in my toes and feeling all around. And if I put my hands in this position, that helps me. Okay. And like that, it helps me, I don't know, anchor in that center. So I actually left and I ended up in this huge white temple, giant temple. And I just was like, boom, there. And then there was all this discussion going on, and there was 3 huge thrones, and the light was very bright, but it was very relaxing. It didn't hurt. It was bright, but it was soft, if that makes sense. And there was these 3 large creatures, humanoid, but massive, but they had very long arms and very thin arms. And that kind of looked good as I did that to the webcam.
I know. I was like, oh, you must have done that earlier.
No. And long shaped heads, you know, we've kind of seen them, and they're all in white. And there was some big deal going on. Like, there was a bit of a problem. And I was, as I normally do, I'm kind of waiting to see when there's a pause. I say, okay, he's clearly finished. I'll jump in now and say. So I waited, and because they didn't address me, they didn't acknowledge me, they didn't look at me. So I waited till the right moment. I said, I'm sorry, but, well, you know, where am I? And the middle one got up on his long feet, walking paces, and he pointed that long bony hand. He says, you should not be here right now. Go back. I was back, but he was a bit pissed off at me. Yeah, he was just like zero patience. he said, "You shouldn't be here. It's too soon. It's not the right time." Something like that. And then I was like, "What?" Well, I didn't even get a chance to say anything. I was just like, "Woof," straight back in my body, and I was like, "Whoa!" So I took that as a warning, and I think when it's time, it's time. But that's 15, 20 years ago. That. So
I was just about to
beautiful.
ask you. Yeah, I was just about to ask you, do you feel that that is maybe part of the resistance or the block now? Because,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That's it. It
Interesting.
was.
That's really interesting. And what's even more interesting is I can't remember when it was, but I was shown a building that you and I need to go to. Maybe it was a temple. I don't think it was a temple. I think it was a cathedral or a church or something. Do you
Wasn't.
remember?
Yeah,
I
I've got a few ideas where that is.
Okay. Yeah, just so that you guys know, I get lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of downloads like constantly. And when they involve certain people, I just message them and I'm like, I'm just going to tell you this because at some point you're going to remember this and I'm not. So David actually gives me quite a lot of messages. And, tonight is a really good example. We haven't spoken in a little while, have we? I'm not like this anyway. And he sends me this picture and he's like, here, check this out. And he's got 3 of the 4 points that I've already channeled that I need to do something on. And he's, we actually work quite well together in that sense, don't we? We're quite good messengers for each other.
I didn't know
I just,
anything about. Well, I knew a little bit about your points, but I didn't send them because of the points. I sent them because of the relativity, exactly the same pictures. It's a
yeah.
story that I'm working on. That it goes back to the Maya end of long calendar count. My theory about it being 2021 and not 2012. So
Yeah, when I next see you, I'll fill you in on my Guatemala story. I think you'll be blown away by it.
yeah, we never finished that, did we? Huna's flying to Guatemala. Funny enough, on Wednesday.
Is
He has to go
he?
there. He has to go there first to change to Mexico.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did a
it's big.
cool live with him yesterday. I actually don't do these lives on any of my social media. I mean,
Why
I
not?
don't know why. I worked out I do about 9 or 10 recordings a week. So that's a lot of shows I do. 2 for me, 2 for Charlie, 2 for that 6, 7, 8. Yeah, about 10 recordings a week I do between Charlie Ward and myself. So it's a lot. So lives as well is I only have about 3 hours personal time a day before I can do anything. That's it.
Yeah.
And let's get the violin out.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
The smallest violin in the world.
So so your focus on you at the moment is obviously creating this new version of you. So what's the next steps for you then, David?
Well, I wouldn't say it's not me, Lucy. I mean, I have this potential in there. I think I want to share it is the point. And what we've been doing, I didn't expect it to go. I mean, I do so many of these interviews, but the great thing about when we have a chat is so much sharing goes on, the information and knowledge that we've just stumbled across. I mean, we didn't set out on this is like maybe number 4, maybe number 5, I think that we've done, but the interview 45 minutes to an hour long, but little tips and things. I think it's a really interesting concept to share about improving who you are. So I don't want the audience to think, you know what, buddy, it's time that you changed. Do you think so? No, I'm not going through some schizophrenic attack. I think that the skills and information that I've learned and been taught by people like Huna, Flash, and yourself, you've helped a lot in the last few weeks and months. I think that this needs to be taught and shared for people that want to listen. You can only understand if you can listen. If you don't want to listen, you will never understand. So the gifts that I've been bestowed upon, that have been bestowed upon me from the great creator, about this eye I have for film and the techniques and tricks I've learned and the amazing locations that I end up finding myself in, is not something I think that should be kept just for my own personal and family entertainment and pleasure and training. I think it needs to be shared with the people that have a craving for knowledge and want to learn what we know, and we want to know what they know as well. It's a sharing experience.
And actually,
So
I feel that there are a lot of people out there, particularly I can see some of the people that are watching now, and I know these people for one reason and another, they can't go do the stuff that I go and do or that we've done over recent weeks and months, you know. So actually it's a really beautiful insight, and that's been the feedback predominantly from my tribe when I've shared the videos that we've done and Mark's done and whatever. They're like, oh my God, it's so good to see the insights, because I've always been quite closed off about sharing it, not because I never shared my locations before I go to them, purely because obviously I need to look after myself. Once I get back, I'm happy to share all the information, where I've been, how long I've been, what I've been doing, blah, blah, blah. But as we know, I don't like filming myself. I'm not very good at filming myself. I just want to get in there and get my hands dirty and do the work at hand. But actually, a little while before I went to Europe, I was told very clearly, it's time to start showing people now. It's time to start demonstrating. And of course, that's when our partnership has come in, and obviously working with Mark and Huna and all the other people, like that's kind of cemented. And that's how we're able to produce this stuff, you know, which I think is so exciting for people watching that have been hearing me for years going, oh yeah, I'm just going to shoot off there and clear these energies. And you know, the feedback that we got off that little video that you put together when we were in Ireland was phenomenal.
Yeah, well, we're going to step it up a lot, and there's a lot more that I'd like to share. And I think we should do a couple of missions together, Lucy, because what happened in Ireland was we were on our way to somewhere else. We just shot that. What, pull over in this field. And I said to the guy, hey, what's the story over here? He said, well, no, that's a really interesting topic. Like, there was a lot of men dragged out of that fortress there on top of the hill, and they were hanging them. Took them about 4 or 5 days to hang them all. There was that many. I was like, ooh.
And what did I say as we went past it? What did we say as I went? What did I say as we went past it? I feel that there's something to clear in there, and you were like, "Let's stop and ask." Yeah, no, but I agree with you, David, and I'm excited for us to do stuff going forward.
Let's turn our work into a kind of course, Lucy. Like, if people want to talk about it, because every one of your topics for every one of our chats has been spot on. You know, you're improving yourself on this one today, and I think we've talked about several things that you can do, but also the fact that we are in the same position. You know, it's sometimes when you go for training courses, like, oh, for God's sake, it's easy. You sit down, you turn your brain off, you concentrate, you go to different planets, you come back. There you go, astral projection. Well, you what? No, you know, some people, they take that like you're a moron, and what they've been doing for ages or for a long time is so every day for them. But, you know, go back to basics.
Yeah, or the other thing, which has been quite prevalent over the last couple of years, is that people are kind of dictating to people, telling people what to do, but they don't actually do it themselves. And that's you know, for somebody like myself, I need to see somebody walking the talk for me to be able to resonate with them, you know. And I don't resonate with all the spiritual people out there. Like, we're not supposed to resonate with everybody. You need to find your people. And I feel we could really help people step up into their passions, their purpose, get into alignment in many, many different ways. You know, I next week, maybe, next week would probably be good for us to have the conversation about masculine, feminine conversations, because I think that's going to be a very, very important topic for us to have. To raise awareness on it, you know, and I just feel that all of this information that we're pulling together and having the different perspectives, you know, we're not saying that we're right, we're just giving our perspectives on it. We're sharing, you know, different scenarios, and David and I seem to be quite similar in the sense that we both get, you know, quite a lot of emails, quite a lot of attention from the opposite sex, and it's just learning how to navigate that, because I know it's not just us two that get this, it's so many people. You know, like, I've got a really interesting scenario at the moment. I'm very rarely on my Facebook account anyway, but I have this thing whereby people that I've never spoken to just start video calling me. Of course I'm not going to answer a video call to a total stranger. Like, I wouldn't answer it to most people anyway, like, let's be honest about it. But, you know, and then I get a shitty message from them, why won't you speak to me? And I'm like, whoa, I don't even know who you are. Like, I've never even heard of your name. So it's just, I feel it's a really important conversation that we need to have here, because I shouldn't
Boundary.
have to go, I shouldn't have to just block these people. I should be able to go, do you know what? If I've never met you and I've never spoken to you, I'm not going to answer your video call. And I don't need to
Well,
explain that point to you.
absolutely. But let me interject. A normal person would know that's unacceptable. A lot of these people that do these things have got some small issues going on there. You know, they're a little confused. I find the energy is confusing when they do these things, because normal people wouldn't do it. I'm going to do it to you right now. Let's ring up. Who are we going to ring up? I'm going to ring up General Flynn on video call and see what he's doing. General Flynn.
Yeah. And
I
if
don't
you
give a
don't
shit if you're with my
answer,
family.
no, but this is why it's such an important topic that we need to speak about, because it is about recognizing healthy boundaries. And again, the only way that you know your boundaries is if you know your standards and your values. Like, I know I will accept calls, like after a certain time in the evening, I won't accept calls from a lot of people. There are a handful of people that I will accept calls from, but you know, I know that in my values, I know that in my standards. So this is what needs to be the empowering side of the conversation, is like, get to know you, know where it is that you feel comfortable, and then stand your ground no matter what.
Yeah.
You don't need to be mean about it. You don't need to kick off or shout or rant or rave. You just say no.
I agree. Although I want to share a story.
You did roll your eyes then. I'm not sure.
No,
You were
no,
doing
no. I
me.
agree. But here's another tip. Don't react with emotion when you do have these things. Like, what the fuck you calling me this time? I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying a lot of people would say, you know, immediately they would go on the attack. I had an email from a guy who says, I watched you tonight and you were shit. He said, he kept saying, what would you like to talk about? You're supposed to be providing us with intel and you're asking us what we want to talk about. Like it's the Oprah Winfrey show. I'm sick of this bullshit. All I want to do is get to the truth. And it was a real long attack. And I thought, whoa. And then next morning, he says, I'm really sorry, mate. Really, really sorry. I should never have sent that. I'd had a few drinks. I was pissed off. I'd had a fight, you know. I fucking all the stress going on in. And I'm so sorry, Mahoney. I fucking love your stuff. Please don't block me. But I liked his honesty. I said, listen, you know what? I'll take the first abusive one and I'll take that out. I'll say, you know, instead of me saying, what do you want to talk about tonight like this, you know? People are paying a subscription fee. It's me that they want me to take them on a journey. This is half the reason why I want to change some of the film stuff. I have to take them on a journey. These are the people that like to see what I'm doing. They pay a subscription fee. I want to give them phenomenal value for money for that. But I said, of course you're not bad, mate. I said, listen, that was a really heartfelt apology, and I know how hard it is to do that. He says, no, don't say that. Now I feel even worse. I'm a twat. It's going back and forth. I said, you're forgiven, mate. I said, I smiled at it, and I said, I took that part in the middle. I took it out, and I used it, and I've never used that line against this. I'm always better prepared on my show. I said, it was criticism. Yeah, you'd had a few drinks, but I said, I didn't take it to heart. So the point that I'm relaying to you, it's different for men to women, how the relationships are. You know, men are very aggressive going in there saying, oi, bitch, why don't you answer the phone? You know me. I've been following you for 3 weeks. With me, I get, hey, Mahoney, I've got this problem. Can you help me? And I always help. You know, I get into it like that. And I don't actually get, there's a moth. I don't actually get a lot of the similar sexual connotations as women do from men, and you've expressed that before. But saying that, some of them are too suggestive and it makes no. I did. It was a moth. You know, I put a t-shirt on. I have some clothes I leave in the studio, and I had 2 big holes in one t-shirt. Oh, that's not it. I thought that was it.
We're having words,
Mahoney. Set them free. I'm not a bug killer.
No, I like what you're saying, though. I like what you're saying. It's a really, really good point. However, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here, and the girls are probably going to hate me for this, but I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here. Us girls can be a little bit manipulative.
Absolutely.
We can send a lovely email or a lovely, beautiful text message. Oh, no, it's all right. But the undertone is very different. At least with men, I know they need to be blocked because they're sending me dick pics or something like that. And actually, in fact, you were the last person that sent me a dick pic.
Yeah, but please explain what it was. There's a
We
picture of Dick
explained that.
Turpin.
Yeah, I know. We explained it in the last video, didn't we? Yeah, he thought it was funny to send me a picture of Dick Turpin saying, "Here, Luce," because I've obviously explained to him that I get quite
Here's
a
a
lot of
dick pic.
this. Yeah, I do. And I also get a lot of men asking me out on dates that I've never spoken to them, ever, ever, ever. They just come out of nowhere on one of the social media channels and they're just like, "Oh, I'd really like to take you out on a date." And I'm like, "Do you want to ask me a question, or like, other than, do you want to get to know me a bit first?" Or so I think men are a little bit easier because at least nah, that's just a block. Whereas, sometimes things come, there's a little undertone to it, and let's be honest about it, we don't, we like to. I'm certainly the person that I will trust where people are at. If they send me an
Yeah.
email asking for information, of course I'm going to help them. Of course I'm going to do whatever I possibly can. If it then goes in that direction, I find it a little bit weird because I quite like people to just be honest about things, So
Yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's a problem, only that it takes up time. That's it. I don't have a great deal of time, but I would not consider that a problem. A lot of people say to me, "Fucking hell, Mahoney, you must meet some right decent birds on your travels, do you, mate? You must meet some right sorts. Come on, mate, tell us this story." And that the truth is, I don't. They don't. I
That's because
get in,
you're
go to
on a
work.
plane. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like we were saying at the beginning, you're on a plane. Everybody thinks it's so glamorous. People say to me all the time, "Lucy, I'd love your life." I'm like, live it. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love my life and it's perfect for me. My life is great for me, but most people wouldn't be able to do the stuff that I do. It's very interesting, isn't it? You're on your own at the airport. You have to deal with lots of different people. Then work happens. Your work, I imagine, is a bit like mine. Like if I need to go somewhere at 2 o'clock in the morning, I've got to go somewhere at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
It's not a
yeah.
choice. It's just that's what you have to do. So, but I guess we don't share that side of it, which is why it looks glamorous to people. I don't know.
I film a lot of that. I always remember I was walking through Panama Airport here. I've been up for 7 days now. High plains of Bolivia, can't breathe. Here we go, more immigration problems, flights being cancelled, can't get into this. I tend to film everything. And I think people like it. I've eased back on that a bit now, but I'm going to start again. Go on.
Note to self: never travel with Mahoney. If he's going to be filming me at 2 o'clock in the morning,
No, we have to do that. That's funny. That's funny. Like sitting in the car at 2 a.m. just with all the lights going. It's people love to see it. It's great stuff. You should see some of the stuff I've done for my personal. I drove a Porsche through Calais once at the height of the immigrants climbing into all the trucks, and they were running around my car like flies, like everywhere. All you could see was feet. And I thought I was going to get murdered, the carjacked, and they were literally climbing into a truck in front of me, opening it up, and all jumping in the back. And I made a film about it. It's on my own personal YouTube channel. It's about 8 years ago now. And then I got to the Calais, and so I was like, holy shit, that was like a war zone. And then I said, I really need a coffee. And then the last part of it was saying, that is the worst cup of coffee I've ever had in my life.
Oh, bless you. The glamorous side of traveling, hey?
Yeah, 2 in the morning.
This is exciting, actually, this chat that we're having, because we have spoken a little bit about doing some stuff together. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to share some cool videos with people as to the stuff that we've been doing.
Well, I'll make it public. I need some help. I've got some places I need some help with, Lucy. Yeah. I'll send you a short list. Let's pick 1 or 2 or 5, and let's see if we can fit it in your schedule, and vice versa. Yeah, vice versa. I know you've mentioned it for me to come and hold the space and help you on some of your zones and projects and locations as well. I'll do that too, because it's very important, this clearing work that you're doing in your way and me in my way. And the undoing, the anti-clockwise spiral that we kept seeing for weeks and weeks, even when we weren't together, guys, we kept seeing this symbol. It's like an anti-clockwork spiral. And we sat down, and it was on our water bottles. It was on the chairs we were sitting on. It was on
my
the
bed
table
sheet
carved into.
somewhere, wasn't it? Do you remember? It was on
It
my
was on
bed
your
sheet
carpet.
somewhere. God knows. Yeah, it's on my carpet here where I am now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, on your
for fuck's
carpet.
sake. You know, there are synchronicities that brought mine and your souls together this lifetime, and since then it's been like on a rocket, hasn't it? It's been very, very
Yeah.
fast. Both of us
So
just
what?
constantly being able to give messages, and I'm excited to do some of this stuff.
Don't forget, the destiny is in your destination.
Destination. Oh my God, I think that's a great place to end today. Ladies and gents, it's been absolutely, and we've literally just ticked over the hour. It has been amazing, amazing, amazing to be back with you, Mahoney. Honestly, it really has. I'm excited.
I have missed you.
I've missed you too. I know I said that I hadn't, but now I've spoken to you, and that's just because I've been so bit like I've been in a lot of meditation, and like I said to you off camera, and I'll say this, and you know, literally just take it as literal, people. I've been speaking with Mahoney's soul whilst I've been in meditation. So
yeah, but you haven't told me what you were talking about it yet. You'll have to tell me.
I will tell you. I will tell you. Yeah, I will tell you.
Was I a sarcastic, difficult bastard in the next life as well?
No, this is what I said to you earlier. I was like, oh, I've been speaking to the much easier version of you. The one without the skin suit and the one without
I
the
don't
just
believe he's that easy.
constantly being cheeky. Oh, I think you'd like him. He is cheeky. I don't think you would ever not be cheeky, but no, he's less resistant, should I say. He's more open to it. Like you and your humour, you're like,
I'm intrigued now, laughing it off. But you'll tell me when you're ready to tell me. So I won't badger you.
Of course, of course, of course. Ladies and gents, thank you so much. Mahoney and I will be back next
everybody.
Monday to talk about something.
Yeah, I hope what we talked about somehow hit something in here, which will make you use this more instead of this, just flapping and talking. More. Yeah,
and
open everything up.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Mahoney, you're amazing. Thank you so much, guys.
You too,
we will see
Thanks,
you next
Lucy.
week. Lots of love, guys.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye.